Thanks, Basil. I just want to give you a bit of an insight into the Saturday afternoon team. We're a bunch of unique individuals.
Hello and welcome to episode 20 of the Unique Individuals podcast. Good to have all the boys alongside me once again. How are we going, guys?
Dot the I's and cross the T's. It's that time of the week. I am happy to be here and ready to go.
It's good to be here, boys.
Yeah, keen lads. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. That's right. Well, let's start off with, I guess we'll hand it to Mansell, but first of all, we got to get into it. Couple of individuals, Blair and Connor, unfortunately got their round 3 certainty predictions wrong. And, Mansell, you're going to be going into the punishments that they have received for this week.
Well, yeah, so just to start off with, just if you can't remember, these are the tips that the boys had.
Geelong will get their first win.
Have you got a certainty in that game? In any game?
Yeah, Geelong.
Right.
Over Gold Coast.
And my certainty will be Brisbane to beat the Dogs.
So we'll start off with Blair. And, we had some, we took it to social media and we wanted to get some thoughts from all you unique individuals. And, despite the calls to be, I suppose, fair with the punishments, half the people wanted to see this man's head shaved, which, yeah, maybe if he keeps going down this path, we might have to consider that. But, we have gone down the hair path and, we've seen the result. Here he is, Mr. Blair Burns.
Here he comes. Oh, hey! Look at him. There he is.
Meet the newest Wendy chick, Blair Burns.
Wow.
Yeah.
Looking very fine there, Blair. Good to have you with us. Little grand entrance there.
Have you learnt from your lessons?
Yeah, it's good to be here. No, it's not really. I haven't learnt from my lesson. Brisbane, you piss week.
So explain to the listeners out there, Blair, what exactly you've done to yourself.
I've put myself through a bit of hell. I tipped Brisbane. I don't know why I had faith in them, but I did. With a forward line like that, we're delusional. And so I've had to get the old pigtails going with the hair today. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was pretty embarrassing walking here. Got a few staring, a few people looking, felt a bit self-conscious, but, that's the world we live in and I've got to wear it.
You're looking very much like a, primary school girl there.
I have the similar figure as well. So.
You do. But good to at least embrace the punishment. That's what we're all about. And, we can't forget Connor as well, because Connor, you yourself got your certainty tip wrong. Mansell, you want to go into that one?
Some people probably saw this as unexpected at the start of the season. But yeah, with Geelong going 0-3, and Connor did tip Geelong to beat Gold Coast. He is also entitled to a punishment. And although there was some harsher punishments that were sent to me, even shaving his hair, I heard the wax strip even as well.
That would have been painful.
But yeah, there's one. There's more harsher punishments on paper, but the emotional impact of this one is going to absolutely torture you. It's been heavily documented on the podcast this year that you and Hugo haven't seen eye to eye in terms of, St Kilda and everything like that. And it's fair to say you've got a bit of a hate for them, bit of a lust. Hugo, if you do the honours, as requested by the man on your right, he has requested you
I'm scared.
to wear some St Kilda gear for the episode and apologise for your comments.
Wow. That's tough.
Got the nice 150 Guernsey
Oh,
as well.
wow. Look at that.
Yeah,
The treatment.
Got to put it on. Put it on.
Too bad.
Can we further that and say for the day, please?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, what?
Take the headphones off.
We'll chuck it on.
We've got a scarf.
Oh,
There you go.
got a scarf. Oh, he's brought the whole kit out.
You nuffy.
That's what we want with the whole kit.
It's not a bad.
To be fair, yeah, the coal looks really nice,
It's not a
actually.
bad Guernsey, really.
Oh, the hat as well.
The hat.
Oh no.
Any redhead players for St Kilda?
Not many.
Nah, I don't think we
Don't
do
think-
actually.
Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, Eddie.
Sharon.
You don't see too many redheads out at Moorabbin.
Oh. Look at that. Looking very good there.
Yeah.
Oh, what a nuffy. Wow.
Now, like we said, you've completed one part of the punishment.
Win your voice, rug up.
The second one, you need to apologise for what you said, Connor, to read.
I'd just like an apology for calling me and my father delusional.
If you bring the family involved, it's yeah.
And I would like an apology. Apology.
Apology.
That's the word. An apology for your comments on St Kilda this year.
Look, mate, I'll start off with the top. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. You know, I took it pretty far, especially sort of bringing your family into it and your old man. I know Greg's a great man, and at the time I just didn't share the same views, and I took it too far over the top, really, let's be honest. You know, it's never right to bring family into it and personally attack yourself and your hopes and beliefs about St Kilda. So I'm sorry, especially delusional. It's quite a strong word to use. You know, you're far from crazy. You know, and that's what normally delusional suggests. So, look, Saints have started well, and it's a pleasant surprise. I didn't want them to go. I didn't know. Let's be honest.
It's a pleasant surprise.
I didn't want them to go poorly. I didn't. I just thought they would. I just I had no belief in them. No faith after. Look, you can go back previous 50 years. You know, it's enough.
Oh, this is apology, mate.
This is not an apology.
It
right
is,
now.
but
It's an onslaught.
but it's enough sample size to think deep down that they're not going to do any good. But you know, they've taken us all by surprise, and
Well, Connor, just
you know,
looking
they're
at
a
you,
fair
mate.
chance to go 4-0 this week, so it's looking good. And look, hopefully for Hugo's sake, they can continue it.
Just looking at you, mate, it does look like you've got a lot of belief for him. Seems like you're the number one ticket holder.
No Eric Banner, but the belief is growing, that's for sure. Yeah, probably in the line to go 4 and zip this week. So, look, you know, if they keep winning, you can't really doubt them. It gets to a point where, you know, you just look really silly yourself and can't really doubt them. So I'm just really sorry for all the pain and hurt, of course, to Hugo and his family.
This hurts me, but Connor, I want you to repeat after me. And this really hurts me. Don't get me wrong. Nick Rewalt is by far the better Rewalt. Repeat after me.
Nick Rewalt is by far the better Rewalt.
There we go.
There we go. Oh, it's out there.
Yeah. Well done, mate.
Well done. Well said. Apology accepted.
Apology
Okay,
accepted.
there we go.
Bit
That's
of
the main
sugar,
thing.
bit of sugar on top there as well.
No, looking good there, both you boys. And yeah, we'll continue with the episode. Let's get into, I guess, what we've been doing this last week. We'll start with you, Connor. The Latrobe Footy Club pub crawl happened recently, and you also had a 21st back at Hamilton on Saturday night. How was that, mate?
Yes, I did. It was a big weekend. So, yeah, the Friday night, I had the pub crawl. Had quite a good turnout there. Fortunately, the great man Hugo couldn't make it, which was a bit of a dampener, you know, on proceedings. But, you know, we still had a good night. But, you know, it always seems like Richmond play when I have an occasion. So I can't really fully enjoy it. So I really wish Richmond weren't playing that night. It put anxiety and the stress levels really through the roof for me. So I didn't have that much fun in the end because I was just so stressed about the game, watching it, copying a lot of hate. There's a lot of Collingwood fans that play for Latrobe, which is disappointing to say the least. And I was copying it from all angles really and didn't really get much support from the few Richmond supporters that were there. So it was quite a hellish night really. It was good to get a few down and talk to the lads sort of in the halftime break and when I could. But, you know, when the game was on, I was zoned in and the stress levels were immense and it left me with a sick feeling in my gut that I really couldn't get around and get a bit of camaraderie with the boys and the girls that were there. So, look, it was a bit of a mixed night, you know. Like, it was obviously good to have a few, but the fact that Richmond were playing and lost and played poorly, you know, it really hurt and there was a few fists that were going through the tables at stages there, and lucky probably not to break the hand in the end. So very fortunate. But and then the 21st, the Saturday night, you know, it was a bit better. We moved on from the Friday night, went back home, went to the 21st of a girl that I went to school with, year 7 to 12. So yeah, it was good to get back home and see a lot of people that I went to school with that I haven't seen for a while. So it was good to chat with them and have a good time. And there was a pretty good setup. You know, they had the marquees, everything was really neat and tidy. a great supply of food and drink. So, it couldn't have been much better, really. And, I hope she had a good night. But it was really good fun to catch up with people, especially that I hadn't seen for a while. And obviously be with, people that I'm living with as well. So, pretty good weekend all in all. It would have been perfect if Richmond got up, but that's another story. But, it was quite a busy weekend, so I was pretty happy with it.
No, good stuff there, Connor. And before we move on to, I guess, the other boys, I guess an injury update is that last night training, you've rolled the ankle, and, well, obviously this weekend's long weekend, Easter break. But how's the ankle? And do you think you're going to be okay for first game in 2 weeks' time?
It's sore. Yeah, it's pretty sore at the moment. Obviously, it only happened last night. So, and we've got first game in a week and a bit really. So, look, I'd have to say I'm doubtful. I've never really had ankle injuries and don't know how it will respond and how I'll recover. So it's disappointing. I mean, like a week out, it's probably the worst time, or a bit more than a week, worst time to do it. So, I was pretty flat with it, and we've been. Take it off the main oval, Tony Sheehan, for a little bit while they're reseeding it. Hopefully we're back soon, but the ground always is in good nick down there. But we're down on the cricket oval. It's just a bit softer and a bit harder to sort of keep your feet. So I sort of a few weeks ago it was really bad, and it's got a bit better. But I sort of knew sooner or later that something was probably gonna happen, and we were just doing a handball drill and just launched at this guy a bit. Didn't really jump, but just sort of landed, fell a little soft patch of grass and just twisted it. Just brought me to ground and took a bit to get up. And then I knew it wasn't. I was hoping the pain would subside a bit, and didn't really. It happened about halfway through training. Sat the rest out. So very disappointing, really. I know family were probably going to come next weekend to watch play footy. So. Hopefully we get up for that still, but the last sort of 2 or 3 years haven't been able to play much with injuries and COVID, so I haven't had the best run after a long period of not having injuries. The last 2 or 3 years have been quite hard to get continuity, but I don't know, it's part of the game, I guess, and hopefully I'll recover well and do everything right and give myself a chance. But look, you'd have to say I'm in doubt at this stage. Yeah, disappointing.
Now, Ed, are you wishing you had an ice bath at this stage, especially with the way your ankle is and all that stuff? You were mocking him last week, especially for me taking one. Now are you wishing you had one?
Yeah, we'll let Blair speak on that.
I'll quickly just touch on that. Look, to be fair, Mansell, Connor does have an injury. And his injury's not a bloody sore heart muscle, that's for sure. I mean, an ice bath could be in order, but it would serve a point in this situation. That's all.
Yeah, after this, I'm probably going to go down and get a pack of ice and put it in a bucket, a bit of water, and just dip the foot in. So hopefully that helps. I've been using ice packs and stuff, but it doesn't seem to have done too much yet. And elevating it, things like that. I'll put a compression bandage on, later today, because sort of the period that you have to ice it for is done, and it won't help anymore if I keep doing that. So I'll use a compression bandage, and hopefully over the next few days it gets a little better. But I really don't know. I haven't really had ankle injuries before. A lot of the time my ankles go to roll and just don't. So I thought that was a good sign, but apparently it's a bad sign and that they're a bit weaker and it was going to happen eventually. That's what I heard from the physios anyway.
Lucky you wear career savers, Rhonda, otherwise you'd be in real trouble, mate, because the career savers have probably held you back all this time, keeping you from doing that ankle, and now they no longer serve the purpose.
They're no longer going to save your career.
I think he was wearing runners last night.
Oh, no.
I had the career savers on.
You saw the great man fall, Hugo? You were out training last night?
I don't know if he saw it. He probably didn't see it in that moment. We were in separate little drills, but doing the same thing. So I don't know if you saw it.
Hugo saw the gone like tears on the sideline.
Yeah. No, I just saw him speaking to the trainers, and then he just sat down next to the light pole for the rest of the trainers, wondering what was going on there. But yeah, no good.
Now, to intervene with my point, you were saying that ice baths are serving a purpose there. I get what you're saying, right? But you said last week, mocking the ice baths, saying that ice baths are a myth, right? Those were your words. Ice baths are a myth. Are they or are they not a myth now that you've done an old man's injury?
The old man's injury is actually the calf, I think. But
Well, it's still an old man's injury.
oh mate, it's a bit of hate from you. But
Well,
look, findings over the last little bit have said that they don't actually do that much. But when you have an injury, like I don't know, you got to sort of hope for the best and try to do everything you can to get over it. So I don't think it would have.
even if it's a myth.
Well, I think it would have helped a little bit. I don't think it would have served me well if I just started running today and just went for a run. I think it would have blown up like a balloon. So, you have to do what you have to do, mate. And I'm all about recovery and trying to help myself. So, I don't know. I don't really know too much in terms of physiology, but I know that it can potentially help me a little bit, and maybe even placebo effect feeling that it does something for me. So, even if it's a placebo, at least I'm feeling a bit better about myself.
I'll just say one positive to the ankle injury is that last night, Connor obviously had to elevate the foot in the apartment. Mario Kart, he was a bit more off balance, and we rolled him. Me and Shulk took him to his home ground to the square, and we got it done in the series. So, Connor, you don't have to comment on that because you're not allowed, and we'll move on from there. But yeah, we got it done. So
Yeah, right. Oh, fair enough. Well, we'll get into the other boys. Hugo, big game for the Saints. Their 150th celebration game against Essendon at the MCG. 69,255 people. Obviously, you were one of them. How was it being in the atmosphere?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a good way to celebrate the Saints. We got a win. Didn't do it easy. We made it challenging for ourselves, which is typical St Kilda fashion. So on a big milestone game, it was nice to get the win, which we have been pretty unsuccessful in recent history. So it was really good to get the win. I went with my mate and my dad and my sister, which was really good. It was great to see Tony Lockett there for the pre-game stuff. And I'm not sure if you boys have seen the story about Neil Roberts and Tony Lockett during the race, but, that was very heartwarming to see. I think he's the oldest living Brownlow medalist at the moment, Neil Roberts. So big shout out to Neely boy. Sure he's listening. It was an awesome night. Saints are flying at the minute. I'm not too surprised by it, but yeah, I'm keen for next week or this week.
Well, I was there myself, and yeah, it was a great game. 5 goals. You're off in a hurry, the Saints, and then you allowed Essendon to get back into the game somehow, and it got to 67 apiece, I think, before you guys dominated the last quarter. But yeah, great game, and atmosphere was pretty good. A question for you: do you think, saying it was your 150th, celebration for St Kilda and the club, do you think you picked Essendon thinking it'd be an easy win?
Well, I saw that Kyle Langford comment, and I did give it to him when Dan Butler kicked the sealer. I'm not going to lie, he was right in front of where I was sitting. But no, we actually wanted Collingwood, and we said that in February, I think it was. Andrew Bassett said it on the radio that we wanted Collingwood because we wanted a massive crowd, but we ended up getting scummy Essendon, so it was good to beat them.
Yeah, right. No, good stuff. Yeah, great win. And yeah, Saints are off to an absolute flyer. We'll get to Blair. Blair, you were at the Richmond Pies game. Obviously, Connor was at the pub crawl at the time, but you were actually at the game. I guess that atmosphere was probably just as good, and I guess, 2 big teams, 2 big supporter base. How was it for you being at the game?
yeah, well, firstly, it was good to get to the game.
Yep.
Considering my recent form, obviously the Richmond Carlton didn't quite make it there. But yeah, good to get to the game. 85k in the house at the G. It's going to be big. It's going to be good. Atmosphere was unreal. If only the game lived up to the pre-game atmosphere. Really, it was just a good vibe getting there. First half, that was a hard watch. I can't put it any different way to that. A bit of rain's falling down, a bit of slippery dip on the ground. The skills aren't great. And then all of a sudden, half time, 3 goals 10 to 1-3, I think it was, or something like it's 1-2. That's not good. That's really not good. You don't want to see like 28 to 8 at half time, 4 goals in the game. But yeah, Tigers obviously a bit undermanned down back, and yeah, Pies are too good. We probably didn't take a lot of chances there, but they were just too good. Pies are going to be a very good side, and especially in the second half, to lose by 14, we'll take that. Should have been a lot worse. They kicked very ordinary in the end. I don't know what the end kicking was. Mansfield might be able to
think it was 9:14 from memory, maybe.
Yeah, so it sharpened up a bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, they were kicking pretty ordinary, the Pies, so they were sort of keeping us in it in that respect. And I mean, until sort of midway through the last, I thought we were a genuine chance. We got a few goals, I think, early in the last and started looking all right. But yeah, it's I mean, go back to the drawing board. It was going to be a tough game. I think we got a reasonably tough next few coming up, the Tigers. But no, it was good to be there. And first game I've went to for the year. And second game I've tried to go to. But yeah, no, it was good. Jazz come along with me, and she was in the Tigers jumper as well, supporting. So yeah, no, it was good.
All right, well, we'll move on to Jackson then. Big week for you, mate. Obviously the F1 Oz GP happened this week, and it was an absolute eventful race day. But you were actually there yourself. How was it for you, mate?
Yeah, well, it was good for when the weather was good, because I went on the Friday, and great seats. We got seats for my dad for Christmas. He absolutely loved it. He was like a kid in a candy store there. Went to
Shout out to Bobby.
Yeah, shout out to Bobby. He will be listening. But yeah, no. So we went. Yeah, so we were basically sitting right across from pit lane, right at the finish line, pretty much. So you had the Red Bull garage, and we were sitting right across from that, out in the open. So for 3/4 of the day, when the sun was out and everything like that, was great seats. I don't have any shame in saying that I got sunburnt. But it was quite bad. I know.
He's taking a turn.
You got
for
a
the
slip,
worse.
slap mantle,
Yeah,
Us fair skin men have to really take care of our skin, mate.
Yeah.
So message it to everyone out there. Slip, slap.
Well, when you're
UV's what does it, not necessarily the temperature.
when you're wearing a jumper and jeans, it is pretty hard to get sunburnt. So
Actually,
it's not
that
your
is.
first
That's grim.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah, you
Where
probably.
have you got burnt, if you don't mind me asking?
I had my jumper off, so I got burnt on the arms, and the side of my face got burnt as well.
Yeah, it is looking a bit of a Richard Spratt texture. A bit of browning over there.
There's nothing healthy about a tan, as they say.
Oh.
But yeah, so we were there probably about, it was towards the end of F1 practice, I think it was, the second one, which was probably about 4:30, 5 o'clock, started absolutely pelting down with rain. And like it did ease up a little bit, but the problem is we were sitting in the last row of the undercover, and obviously with temporary stands and everything like that, you have the water running down the sails. So basically you're getting the water from there, plus the rain on top of you as well. And so we had to make a dash for it in the end. Like we tried persisting with it. Actually one of the girls I used to go to school with was racing in the Carrera Cup, so it was. I wanted to see that, but shame with the weather and everything like that. It wasn't practical. So, obviously there were 130,000 people there or something like that, something around that figure. So absolutely crazy. And when you have about 100,000 of those people trying to go for a tram, it can be pretty chaotic. It took us about 45 minutes to at least get a tram. The deal that was given to us, which was repeated over the megaphone, was to either wait with the 100,000 people for a tram and could be waiting for ages, or to go in the other lane where it basically takes you a minute to get onto the same road. You get Ubers and everything like that. And we're thinking, we're probably just going to go. We'll probably just stay with the tram. I had other thoughts, but that's neither here nor there. So we went over, and then by the time we got to the promised land, as we should say, we didn't realise there was a gap in the fence that security was just letting everyone that was walking off the sidewalk into the queue. And let's just say we gave him the filthiest deaths there. It wasn't even funny. But managed to just make it to the footy, and that's all she wrote.
Stories that go nowhere.
No, it went somewhere.
It's fair enough about the line. No one dislikes more than when people are pushing in the line, mate, especially when you're trying to get to the big event. So, hope you had a good time with it, mate. But I actually caught the end of it. It was very eventful, and they didn't end up finishing all the laps. Like on the restart, it took ages. I didn't realize how long it actually takes to restart. It took a long time.
I'll give you
the blokes come out. The blokes come out of the cars and just sort of put the feet up for a bit, but then restarted, bike spin out straight away, and then they just call it. I thought, unlike V8s where they sort of always finish it off, like.
Well,
I took a few learnings out of it, that's for sure. But it got the juices flying.
The supercar race that we saw on the day only had like 2 or 3 running laps because everyone was crashing into the wall and everything like that. So
Yeah, righto.
yeah,
Geez.
but
Severe.
yeah. So actually, speaking about Sunday, that's another story in itself. So the race is from 3 to 5. We actually went into the city, went to watch Creed actually because haven't seen that yet at the casino. So we left at 4, right? And give you an indication. So we were watching the race from there, ended at 4. By the time we got there, we probably got there about 5:30, right? The race was still going. We managed to actually get into the sports bar and watch that final safety car lap. So that just indicates how long it took with all the restarts and everything like that. I mean, disappointing end, but it is probably the safe way to do it. I wanted to see an absolute super sprint in the final lap and cars going everywhere. But, when it's an OH&S problem, that's something else. So,
Yeah, definitely weird circumstances. And yeah, I guess, boys, before we move on, the F1 predictions prior to the race and how they went. Are we happy with our predictions?
Yes, I know what you're trying to get at.
No, so I just want to.
I mean, it's quite convenient, Owen, bringing this topic up. Look, I went Piastro, if you pronounce it like that.
Piastri.
Close enough.
And Aussie Piastri. Went for him as second. Received a little bit of lip from one of my mates back home. He said, mate, he's not even going to get top something or other, at least.
Top 10 probably.
Yeah,
Do
well,
we want
maybe
to
even worse.
mention names here? Or?
Yeah, shout out to Archie Buck.
Not you, Bucky, you cheeky bugger.
Yeah, but he got stuck in me a bit. And I said, look, Bucky, just supporting the Aussie man. So, and he said, yeah, fair enough, well played. So we moved on from that. But apart from that, I just went 2 hot favourites in the Aussie man with the heart. So
It would have required a Stephen Bradbury like.
it didn't work out, but
He finished 7th, which is
that's not
Yeah,
bad.
it's his best
That's
ever.
10th.
First points ever for the big fella, I believe.
Yeah.
I didn't realise I picked him for the win, the big O. But yeah, I didn't realise it was just his 3rd start or 4th start. So I didn't realise he was pretty raw to it all. Other than that, anyone could have really picked Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton to get up there. So I don't know if that deserves too much credit, but I went the smoky outside and didn't pay off. But I think he's going to have a good future. The big O Piastri.
Yeah. Owen, take us through yours, mate. Obviously, right on the money. Take us through those. Obviously, probably to be expected, sort of around.
Yeah,
that
the only question mark was Alonso. I think he started on the grid 4th or 5th. 4th. Who started 3rd? Was it?
So no, it was actually Lewis Hamilton because Russell started.
That's right. Yeah, so Russell crashed out early, and then I thought, I'm on here. And then as soon as they had that restart, and then Alonso crashed, I was like, oh no, there goes my prediction. But then when they said we're going to do another restart and Alonso's going to, start 3rd again where he started originally, I was like, oh, I'm on here. And then good little good to get the predictions right. But pretty good race I think overall. And yeah, I think a little disappointing how it probably finished with just a safety lap to finish off the race, but there was a lot in it, and I guess that's what the fans want. So good stuff.
If anyone was wondering, I had the same top 3. I just had it in a different order. So
Well, not the same top 3. So
it was the same people in the top 3.
yeah,
I had Alonso winning it, and that was it.
Yeah, well, he didn't win, did he? So
There's the Piastri, so
before we move on, I just got a little notification there, remind me of something. Got a little funny story from Friday night. So obviously,
back to Connor.
this is going to take 2 hours.
No, it won't. You mate, says you. Your stories are taking.
Shots fired.
Your stories are taking, all day, and we don't really
Takes
know
you
what
10
you.
years to say hi.
We don't really know what you said in the end. Just stop holding me up, man. So stop holding me up, all right?
Hold yourself up.
Well,
Mr.
Friday.
Ed.
All right, I'm going to say this quick. Friday night, after, I'm in a bit of an inebriated state. A little bit loose. Get back, feel pretty hungry. So,
This one, yeah.
in a state where I wasn't thinking too clearly, I just get on the Uber Eats app, the old trusty Uber Eats, which I hadn't hit up for quite some time, and I was pretty proud of it because it's quite an addictive sort of sauce. I don't know what's going on over there, Mansell. You're losing the plot. Not quite, mate. Not quite.
Nah, man, so this is a good story.
Stop butting out. So I was a bit hungry, but I ended up ordering a McValue box from Macca's, which I can't say I've ever done before. It's probably more well served to obese Australians to get that sort of stuff. But with as little disrespect as I could say it's true. But look, I got that. It must have been slow loading because I must have clicked it heaps and it just didn't refresh or something, or just kept refreshing. Clicked it a couple times, but I ended up getting like 4 or 5 burgers, 4 drinks, about 4 fries, and spent close to $50. So it was it was outrageous, really, and I ended up getting it all down. But except one thing, there was a milk drink. I think it might have been a mocha or hot chocolate, because I wouldn't have ordered a coffee, even in my inebriated state, because it's shit house. But we'll come back after the weekend, see it in my room still. I see a little bit of curdling and stuff, right? So I grab it, go like this, tip it down the sink, and like nearly like I'm dry reaching. I'm nearly throwing up.
Stunk out the apartment.
And on the way to training still, and I was feeling crook that training session. I could just smell the waft of curdling milk. So for anyone out there, I think just be responsible with your money and don't do what I did, because that's $50. Look, I'm never getting back. They were nice burgers, but it could have been well served on something else, maybe even some books for classes or things like that.
That's the biggest load of shit.
So just don't do what I just did. And I mean, things can get a bit more extreme than that when you're on the piss, but I was really disappointed.
See, even Owen's
I lost some money.
Even Owen's telling you to wrap up.
No, I'm just like
Let's not fire any shots. I mean,
That's
speaking
the
of
story, but Mansell, you really stopped my flow early days there, so I'm quite disappointed in you, mate.
speaking of obese, Connie, you got it all down. What's going on there?
Well, it was over sort of a 2 or 3 day period, so I didn't have it in the one serving.
Oh, okay.
Not like,
misunderstanding.
yeah, it was no sort of supersize me sort of stuff there. I wasn't going too crazy and radical with it, so but I felt very bad. Like, I felt in the worst physical shape I ever have after that weekend, so that probably says a bit. But I feel a little better now after just eating meals with some form of nutrition. So yeah.
Obviously, we all went to Billy Darcy, boys. How good was that?
Can't forget that.
We can't forget that. The Reckless Pelican, 55, a gentleman's 55 minutes. It was incredible. I think it's fair to say we all had incredible laughs. None more so than Owen. Like, you were nearly getting picked on for how much you were laughing, mate.
I think you were just doing it for attention at that stage. You wanted him to actually be.
Cancel.
But obviously the Cooper's in. Great joint. Second time we've been there. We obviously visited Billy D last year for the same, different show, but same venue. We all got there, had a feed. Mansell was a bit late for umpiring, it was.
Yeah.
And, I smashed down a Palmer, full thing down. So it was some incredibly hot, wicked buffalo wings, which, brought men to a sweat.
Oh man.
Owen, care to enlighten us on those?
This was a struggle. Didn't realize how hot they'd be. I thought they'd just be mild chicken wings. I felt like just felt like chicken wings. I thought Parma, I always have that. I wasn't too hungry. I was more thirsty. Anyway,
would have been after that anyway.
Yeah, after one, I was like, how am I going to get through the next 10? That was ridiculously hot. And I somehow did. And I gave Connor 1, Hugo 1. Hugo put on a brave face, said, it's not that hot.
Yeah, it wasn't really that
It
bad.
really was. Connor nearly passed out. I mean, Connor, do you even remember the event, or did you phased out?
I remember the event, but I got a bit lightheaded there for a minute.
Blacked out.
Yeah, well, you can almost say that, but this is no exaggeration at all. I put it up to my mouth. I put that wicket wing up to my mouth, and I felt like an itch. Like, I felt like I'd already started chewing on it before it was in my mouth. That's how hot it was. Had a lot of stank in it. I know people give me a bit of flack for not being able to handle heat, and obviously the buttered chicken story last week, which I'm not proud about, but they were seriously hot, and full credit to you, Owen, for getting through them. I hope you sort of got some sort of enjoyment and satisfaction out of the food.
They were tasty. They're just extremely hot.
Hugo put on the brave face, and he's talking absolute rot, really, saying that they weren't that hot.
I think you're sucking it up,
Get a
mate.
few more down, mate, and I think yeah, we might have had to take you to the ambulance. So yeah, but they were pretty hot, and I'm glad I had the Palmer because it was a good Palmer. And let's just acknowledge that Blair got through his first Palmer
Well done.
in potentially years, really.
Yeah, at least 6 months. So, $28, all spent, none wasted. So.
No, you did well there.
It got to that point when you had like a mouthful left, and normally when I say you're going well, you're going to get done, the psychological thing, he just relaxes and he sort of loses the plot and his stomach just starts hurting all of a sudden. But I was very confident this time. I sensed the vibe and the state that he was in that he could get through. So
yeah,
proud of him to be able to get through a Palmer, and obviously in this day and age with how much chicken they provide.
How much? 6 cc's helped it down as well. We obviously got up to the show up in a nice tight little function room. We didn't really want to take
Real
front
intimate.
row. Yeah, which is fair. You don't want to take front row of a comedy set. We're a bit nervous that Mansell would rock up late and get an absolute earful from the man himself.
Never in doubt, mate.
But no, we all sat along. Hugo was isolated, unfortunately, in the row behind us, so we sort of had to hang over the chairs to, feel part of it. But
he was amongst us.
nah, but it was a ripper, boys. Like, third time I've seen Billy. I love that man so much. Let's not take
No.
Mansell, don't take it too far. But
There's-
if he's looking for a number one ticket holder, Billy, you know where my inbox is, mate. We've exchanged a few messages in there, and it was nice. I think I can speak for all of us. I think when it was nice that he gets around after the show and has a beer with everyone, comes down for a bit of a yarn, and I did blush a bit that he remembered me. So
Now, Now you were a bit pissed that when we took the photo with the great man, I was separating you and Billy.
Yep.
See, I had confirmation from Victoria Police that you two had a restraining order, so I needed to separate the two of you. So, far out. I reckon your reaction to seeing the big man is like any girl to seeing Harry Styles in their bed. Like, I reckon that's literally
in their bed.
Yeah,
Let's
that's how.
it's a family friendly podcast.
Well, that's how.
Okay, I can't deny that. I love the man. And look, I was a bit salty that Mansell was next to him in the photo because I specifically said probably 180 seconds prior to the photo, I said, we're going to get a photo. We strategically planned it, got to the door, said, look, Bill, Owen asked for us. So I was a bit nervous, I was getting a bit flustered. But I said, look, Mansell, boys, I'm going to stand next to Billy and put my arm around him. And what's Mansell do? Just get in my way.
He just gravitated towards me. He
No,
actually
he-
planted himself
Mansell,
right
That's
there.
not needed.
That's
you don't
sickening,
even,
Mansell.
You don't even know him. And yeah, so
You're a passenger.
for him to come round to the table and say to Rhonda, are Blair Blair and your crew around there? Look, that I went to bed with a smile on my face. I think it's fair to say, but we will be seeing him again. We left him and said, "See you next year, Bill. Same venue. Let's do it all again." So shout out to Billy. I think it's fair to say that he should be more widely recognised in comedy. I think obviously from Sydney, but like he's done 11 shows here in Melbourne, and he's growing, and I think he's got a lot of potential in the comedy area.
Very funny man.
I think he's underrated. So if you haven't heard of Billy Darcy, search him up, get on the Restless JPEG and
The Restless JPEG.
and give him a follow.
It was a great night. It's become a bit of a tradition now. Good stuff, boys.
And we have created a bit of a boy band as well but between the six of us. We call it Six Alpha Males, as he coined himself. So.
And we are a wolf pack with more than one. we don't need to go into context. But, and obviously we had a few scooter rides afterwards
No.
on the Neurons. Look, I was going to get on one. Hugo and Owen scanned on and started riding up and down the street. Look, Owen, I think the pints were taking hold of you at that point. You were sort of wobbling around on the road on the scooter, and there was cars going past, borderline close to tooting, I think.
No, they weren't.
Oh, there was a couple
Oh,
where
they were
No,
close.
they weren't tooting. They
It's
would have just ran you
there was
over.
one that nearly nicked you, mate. Seriously.
rather illegal.
Really?
Yeah, but
Wow.
If we're being
and that's
honest.
not great that you don't know that. But Hugo was cutting up laps up and down on the footpath. The sensible man he is. Owen was going rogue on the road, both sides. And then we got to like a couple of stairs, and I said, "Yeah, you boys, you won't do it." I wanted to be on a Neuron, but I'm not sure if people know that the backwards camera of my iPhone 12, it has not been working for about 3 months. So I can only take 0.5s and tried to scan it, no back camera, black screen. So turned it the other way around. Looked quite quite Al-Cardi, standing there trying to get it to work. And couldn't. So Owen was generous enough to give me a little ride on his. Popped a little ollie, I think you could call it, down a couple of stairs of the scooter outside Sydney Bank in Melbourne, which
that was
Hugo
weird.
posed the question probably after we'd been standing there for 10 minutes. Said, to be fair, what's Sydney Bank doing in Melbourne? And none of us could really answer it. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, Owen, there was a couple misdemeanors. He was hitting the wall, the glass wall. I want to see that CCTV footage, to be fair.
Oh, no.
You were reverberating against the glass, mate. And then obviously we went from there. But yeah, a bit reckless, you boys on the scooters.
It was pretty fun. Yeah, I think after a few drinks down, you floor it.
Don't drink and scoot.
No, don't. It's not recommended. I stacked it a few times, but luckily no serious injuries like rolling an ankle.
And that was because you pulled out as well. Like,
Yeah.
you kept pulling out.
All right, man. All right, man. So you're hating on Connor. You're hating on me. You got Hugo and Blair to come next. Watch out, boys.
Yeah,
Far
watch out.
Yeah, well, lucky
Just
no injuries.
negative energy in the corner of the room here.
Yeah, lucky no injuries. But after seeing the reckless Pelican himself, it would have been remiss of us not to get a bit of reckless ourselves.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Get a bit loose
the
on
whole
the town.
point.
So
Yeah, painted the town with a couple of flyers and off we went.
really good night, really good fun. So
Yeah, and
looking forward to doing it again.
look, I want to try and resolve the issues going on here between Mansell and the other panel members. Look, Mansell, respect. Thanks for driving us home. I think it's fair to say that I wasn't going to be getting behind a wheel at that point of night. Connor, his Uber app conveniently doesn't work frequently. No offense. And Mansell did God's work.
I booked out the Uber to Vic Park, so we got there to get to the car. So
$7 Uber, you cheapskate.
$11.82, I think. So,
But
so
shout out to Mansell for driving.
$3.10 each, boys. It's all right.
Obviously dropped Owen home and then dropped me and Connor at uni. Hugo did what he does best and walks the streets of Fitzroy. But yeah, it was a cracking night, boys, and I think that's the weekend, and let's get cracking to some sport.
No, it's all love here. No conflict. It's
there we go.
it's all content. It's content, not conflict. So.